Deku might be one of the most overly hated MCs in New Gen Shonen. Also had his run for a little bit. First time the anime came out, I ain't gonna hold you, bruh. That bitch was kind of annoying. The voice, was not a fan. Tanjiro, I think people agree, he's kind of boring. Get the little nice guy thing going on. I don't know, man. Smell like bitch in here. And to be fair, the same allegations are being thrown on Deku. But when you look at MCs like Denji or Yuji, you know, for the most part, niggas aren't really mad at these dudes. They might say they're kind of overhyped in comparison to other dudes. But Denji's like the cult favorite MC right now. And Yuji doesn't really do anything that bad. But ever since the beginning of the story, there has been reasons to slander Deku. And you know, to be honest, a lot of shit's kind of fair. Number one, the drip not dripping whatsoever. We'll get into his hero costume a little later into the video, but there's not much for me to say. Plus, if you're like an older shonen head dude, I feel like Izuku Midoriya doesn't really compare to a Naruto or a Ichigo or a Yusuke Urameshi. Characters that are like really confident, really driven, or really raw. When you look at a Deku and it's his first day at school and then Uraraka talks to him, he's like, Titi? A girl talked to me, oh my gosh, I'm going to collapse. He's just like me for real. Come on, bro. There's just levels to the shit. There's just levels. But with the anime finally adapting my favorite version of Deku, who am I not to talk about it? According to the wiki, this is called the Dark Hero Arc. Again, all arc names are pretty much like fan made. So hey, I'm gonna run with it, but Dark Hero Arc Deku is here. And you know, I want to be talking about why this version of Deku is by far the best version of Deku that Horikoshi has given to us. You know, I gotta get this out the way because it's pretty important to me. We gotta talk about design. Now, one of the biggest complaints about Deku throughout his whole time in the manga has been his drip. And you know, when you start off like this, you can't really argue the point. This shit was ass. And it's so surprising to me because in my opinion, art-wise, Horikoshi is by far my personal favorite new gen artist in shonen. And with that, I agree that his character designs go in part with that. And I would even put his character designs on that level of being some of the best that we've seen in Shonen Jump. Hey, I might be stroking the cock a little bit, but let me stroke. Look at designs like Liberation War Shigaraki, Overhaul, Lei Nagant, Shoot Hawks, Endeavor. I'm sorry, these designs are sensational. There aren't other series that are whooping out designs like these this consistently at this level. Horikoshi kind of gives me that similar like Pokemon design style where it's really over the top, but it's really noticeable like, yeah, this is a Horikoshi design, or this is a Pokemon design. They're very colorful, really out there. They're not boring. And that's the shit that I love to see out of an anime design, because anime is not supposed to be boring. It's supposed to do shit they cannot see when you're not animating, all right? And even though Deku's design start off like level 1 garbage, it's made its upgrades throughout the years. You know, adding the Air Force gloves were pretty sick. The full cowl little leg things, also pretty cool. You know, full time, you know, Deku like understood like, hey, I can make my shit look a little fresh. Fuck my mom, I don't know what she was doing. And he's definitely has. When he stopped putting on that hood, I knew he was starting to get it. And I understand the whole furry ear thing is supposed to be like All Might shit. I don't care. That joint is weak. But come the Dark Hero Arc. You know, I feel like all of us just have like a mini middle schooler just hiding deep within us. Like your inner edgelord should just come out sometimes when you see designs like these. Just the edge. The edge, I said. Capes in general are just like a hit or miss for me. In this case, I fucking loved it. Taking Gran Torino's like worn down cape and putting that shit on kind of like a reminder like, yeah, we just came out of a war. That nigga fucked us. It's kind of like a homage, like, hey, I ain't gonna forget what they did. I gotta go crazy this arc. Plus, they're like covering like half his face a lot of the time. Just makes him look like even more edge. Again, this is the best word I could use for this design, man. Edge. But they bring the hood back. This is the only time I ever want to see the hood again, because this hood actually works in a specific situation. Throughout this entire arc, Deku has this very melancholic gray expression on, and the hood covers it for the majority of the arc. But whenever it comes off, it's like a reminder like, hey, this nigga He's going through it. You could already tell this man is going through it by just how like worn down his costume is. Straight out the war, did not get any upgrades whatsoever. He said, hey, we're rocking with this. We're getting to business. And you know, it works out in his favor. He didn't even go back to get the gloves. He said, fuck the gloves. We're going raw. But even Deku's eyes throughout this entire arc, this really shows a lot. I knew this arc was about to be serious when all the one for all users were there and they tell Deku, yeah, you're gonna be the last one. And you just have the shot of him just stand up, serious as hell, like, oh shit. This shit's gonna be the end, you feel me? Like, you just felt the weight of the moment through his facial expression, especially through his eyes. As a whole, Horikoshi was able to make a design that showed the weight and gravity of this section of the arc purely through how he drew his main character. So we're past the design. You know, let me show you what Deku brings to the table as a character during this arc. If you kind of paid attention to the story, this seems like a moment that Horikoshi was kind of building up to for the majority of the story. I think he probably had this idea ever since we had the All Might scene pointing to Deku saying, you're next. Again, I'm getting shivers, man. That shit was fire, bro. The mass amount of weight that Deku kind of has to carry throughout the whole story doesn't really get acknowledged to the point that it should until this arc. For a 15-year-old kid to have this much responsibility at his age, we should have had like some moments for the character to acknowledge this weight, but it always felt like Deku would like plus ultra his way through, punch his way to victory, you know, figure it out some way somehow, which is fair. You know, that's his character, you know, that's what he's supposed to do, the whole hero gimmick, and it's been cool, but something like this was kind of needed. Let me break down all the shit that is in Deku's shoulders currently at this moment. He's attempting to save a society that completely just hates heroes right now. Endeavor finally got exposed for all the shit he did. Wild ass dude, by the way. People getting mad at Hawks for killing twice. And bear in mind, this is the heroes sneaking up on the villains. The villains weren't even planning this attack yet. It was supposed to happen like 2 months later. In a way, they lost a battle that they should have won. So Deku's trying to redeem this crumbled society. On top of that, Deku gets thrown with the information that he's gonna be the last one for all user. It's literally do or die, or off one will literally take over the world, probably forever. And Deku feels the need to protect quite literally everybody in this series. He left UA because all the students would be in danger if he stayed there. He's trying to save the villains while trying to beat them at the same time. And he's on his hero shit, so he's still protecting society from all these random ass assassins that are just coming after him. All of this, well, all for one, is just trolling him the entirety of the time. I don't give a fuck about All Might no more. I'm playing with your ass. After you almost killed Nagant when she's turned to the good side? Nasty work, bro. Nasty work. Like, even if he wasn't a 15-year-old boy, the amount of pressure in this situation is the most in the entire series. Like, even Endeavor, who has like a lot of pressure on him due to his past actions, plus him being the #1 hero, is not even compared to what Deku is going through during this arc. You quite literally feel just like the stress and anxiety just pouring off from this entire arc. And Deku's always been the type to be like, hey bro, I got this. Trust, bro. He's looked up to All Might so much, who was a person that was able to do everything like by himself. So of course he's gonna try to do the same shit. But obviously in this situation, you kind of just can't. Even All Might in this situation is like, bro, like, I understand you. I do the same shit. So let's not do this right now. But Deku's like, bro, trust. I don't even need your ass right now. I'ma go. It just leaves him on the floor. Spilled the food and everything. It's kind of funny because like Bakugo was like predicting the whole thing when he's not even there. He's like, hey bro, all right. I know how Deku is. I know how All Might is. Deku for sure doing his own thing right now. All Might's trying to stop him, but he don't know how to do it. So if we don't get out there, they're kind of fucked. And yeah, you know, he got it, which just makes the conflict between Class 1A and Deku that much more impactful. Maybe I'm just like a slut for like the whole like, oh, you can't do this alone trope. This shit kind of go crazy, bro. When ReZero did it, I was like, okay, let's cook. It's just so comforting seeing people who like try so hard themselves finally like lean and open up to the people closest to them, which makes the fight so good. The episode has not dropped for that fight yet, but that's probably my most anticipated moment from this second half of the season. But in my opinion, this version of Deku is the best that we have seen. How do you guys feel about this arc in general? Again, the tone and atmosphere is on a totally different level. With it being so different, I want to hear you guys' thoughts. But thank you guys for watching once again. Guys and gals, these were my blank thoughts.